Hola, buenos días. Bienvenidos a la clase intermedia, de español. Espero que ustedes estén listos. I hope you're all ready. Un poco de repaso, a little bit of review, because it's complicated, right? Imperatives. On page 258, they gave you the explanation of how to use the imperative with ustedes. And so the essential difference is you use an N after the usted command. For example, come in, which is entrar. We use for usted, entre. In other words, we're switching the vowel, the characteristic of the infinitive, what the book called the theme vowels. Okay, so entre usted, and just as we do in the indicative, we add the N, entren, or ustedes. So, you, one person, come in, y'all come in, okay? So, I use that because in Southern English, we have a plural for you. It's y'all, which is a contraction of you all. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then for ER and IR verbs, we use an A. So we want to tell someone to eat, comer, an ER verb, we say coma usted. We don't say the usted, but don't have to. And then coman ustedes. And that's the positive. The negative would just be no coma or no coman. It's a little different with the familiars. For tú, it's come. Looks just like the third person indicative. For ustedes, for vosotros, the plural, I'm running out of ink here. Vosotros, we do a neat trick. We take the infinitive, we drop the R and add a D. Come. Getting myself ahead of myself. And of course, when you use command, you don't even have to use the pronoun in either of these cases. Context will make it clear that you're giving a command.
Tom, we have a question.
Okay, question.
From page 248. 248.
248. Okay, let's go back 10 pages all of a sudden. Okay.
Number 11.
Is that C11?
C11, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Can you please explain the word order for these two sentences?
Les doy mis libros a personas desconocidas. No se los de usted. That's the command form. Don't give them to them, essentially. Where no se los de, the los refers to the libros, and the se substitutes for les, the indirect object. I mean, to them. Se can be a singular or a plural, and so in this case it's a plural because it refers to personas. Does that answer the question? In other words, if we were to translate it in the order the answer's given, don't give them those things, meaning the books. Don't give them those, meaning those books. Or even, it would be, no, give them, where the first them is to the people, and the them, second them, is the books. But in Spanish, you can tell the difference between the them and the them.
Yes, that was understood.
Okay. Other questions? In anything we've done before, or?
What page are we currently on?
I moved us to 258. The section called Grammatica, halfway through the page. Okay, so here's the deal with imperatives. Imperativos. Usted or ustedes. You're speaking to someone either not known to you or personally or in a superior social rank, so to speak, shall we call it. So, with AR verbs, we use the E, and with IR and ER verbs, we go to the A. In other words, we're just switching that theme vowel. And of course, the singular is without the N, and the plural is with the N. So it would be, for example, if we were going to say, let's use comer again. Ustedes coman. Ustedes coman. But we don't have to say ustedes, because if we speak to a group of people and say coman, they mean they know you're talking to them. Or sometimes, and quite frequently, the verb comes before the subject anyway. Coman ustedes. Coman ustedes. Or, in the singular, coma usted. Okay, with ER, that's an ER verb. So we use the A. With an AR verb, we can use hablar, which is our infinitive. Hable usted. Hablen ustedes. So essentially, with usted and ustedes commands, we're simply taking the theme vowel and switching it over to the other. With the familiar commands, it's different. We use the theme vowel with the to. So if I want to say to you, eat, come. Come tú. With the plural, it's different because we take the infinitive, replace the R at the end of the word with a D. So it would be comed. And the vosotros is understood, just as the to is understood in the context of the use. So here you have it once, and here you have it twice. Okay? Here you have it once, and here you have it twice. It's a pretty logical scheme. Now, what we're doing here is we're switching the theme vowel. It's a little different with the vosotros and vosotras because we're not switching it, we're keeping it. And this little trick with using the D instead of the R in the infinitive is pretty easy to remember. So, for example, with hablar, we tell someone to speak, it would just be habla. And it's understood that the subject is tú. Hablad for vosotros. For tú, it would be come. And for vosotros, it'd be comed, as we had here. So that by now should be review. I hope that it is review. I hope that if you have any question that you need resolved at this point on how to come up with these imperatives. Oh, there's one we forgot. No, we didn't forget. I forgot. It's that command to ourselves, plural. And we follow the pattern that we did with the usted command by switching the theme vowel. So let's eat. Comer, comamos. Comer, to eat. Comamos, let's eat. Hablar, an AR verb. Let's speak. Hablemos. Let's speak. Let's eat. So, how would you say let's resist? Resistir is the infinitive. How would we say resist? Let's resist. It's an IR verb. We go to the other vowel. Resistamos. Now that's not what we should do when we're learning a language. You shouldn't resist it. We should accept it, embrace it, inculcate it into ourselves, okay, instead of resisting. So, what's the answer to that? That's the answer. Estudiemos. Let's study more. Okay, so much for my didacticism. Questions? If no questions, I assume you now know what to do and you just need to practice it and absorb it. So, looking at page 258, entren ustedes. Y'all come in. Señores, pasen ustedes, por favor. Sirs, come in. Tráiganme esos libros. Remember that we're not only switching the vowel, but we're going back to the root for the first person singular, traigo. I bring, okay? The infinitive is traer, but we've got this irregular root here, and it's going to follow you all the way through the formal commands.
We have a few questions coming in.
Okay, questions?
The first one is, on the imperative positive vosotros,
Right.
the infinitive of the verb changes the R to a D.
Exactly.
So, is it correct to say hablad, comed, and vivid?
Vivid.
Vivid. Okay.
Hablar. comer, and vivir, if you want to tell someone where to live.
On the verb hablar, do
Mhm.
you say hablenos or hablinos?
Hablemos.
Is it Hablenos or Hablenos?
Hablemos. Let's speak. Comamos. Let's eat. Vivamos. Let's live, or let's stay somewhere.
Another question then.
Mm-hmm.
Is the use of the verb sentir correct for the following meanings? Center.
Okay, let's do this. Sentir,
Okay, yeah.
which means to feel.
She has sentir,
Mm-hmm.
OIR, meaning to hear. Example,
Oh.
sinto un ruido en la calle.
It can mean to hear. But here is also oír. So what is our command form then with sentir? To feel or to hear in that sense. Actually, sentir is hearing in the passive sense. It's not listening, it's a hearing. But sienta for one person. Sienta usted. And then oiga, using the first person singular of the indicative root, oigo. Oiga means listen up, hear. And we add an N here and an S here, and we get the plurals.
So is it okay to say siento un ruido en la calle?
Siento un ruido en la calle. Yes, but that's not a command, that's just a statement.
Right.
I hear a noise in the street.
And then we also want to know about still the use of the verb sentir. Can you use it as escuchar, meaning to listen? Example, siéntame.
If you want someone to literally listen to you, you use escuchar, okay? Escuchar is to listen. Oír and sentir in that sense. Oír is to hear. Sentir means to feel, but it's also used feeling audibly. So
would it be more proper as sentirse, meaning to feel? An example would be me siento mal.
me siento mal. Me siento mal. You'd use the reflexive. This is not a command form. This is just a statement.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad. Because sentirse is almost always the way it's used. The difference would be me siento frío. I feel cold. Siento el frío, where frío here is a noun. Frío here is an adjective. I feel cold. I feel the cold, which is outside of me. This reflexive is inside of me, okay, because it's the same person as the subject of the verb. Now, here's the trick. Sentar. Sentar is literally to seat. Okay? So, if the teacher seats the students, it's el profesor sienta a los alumnos. But sentarse, literally to seat oneself, means to sit. We just use two different verbs. They just use the same verb, but they just use a reflexive version of it for what I'm doing. Now, sentar is a different verb. It's an AR verb. So if we want to make a command of it, you see, we changed the vowel here, so we'll do the same thing. We'll just go back the other direction. Siéntense. Y'all sit down. Y'all seat yourselves, literally. You all seat yourselves. So we say sit instead of seat yourself. I mean, we could say it either way, but. So it pays attention, got to pay attention to the ending of the verb, and when it changes to the other characteristic vowel. This is a command for sentir. This is a command for sentar. So we're doing the switcheroo. And I point out with sentir and sentar because they're so similar, they look the same when they're conjugated, except for the endings and the context. Now for the commands in the familiar, the tú and vosotros. We use what looks like the third person indicative. Habla. Come. Or hablad. Comed. Abrir. You all speak, you all eat, you all open. But this is the plural of tú. With usted, it's hable. Coma. Or abra. Ustedes. Hablad. No. Hablen. Coman. And abran. The N tells us that it's the plural. Questions about this? I hope it makes sense as I put it up here. I know it has to penetrate. That just takes some study time and kind of rehearsing to yourself what things are. So if we go back to 258, entren ustedes, from entrar, okay? The A became an E. Señores, pasen ustedes, pasar, to come in or go ahead. Tráiganme. Now, here's where we got the root from the first person singular of the indicative, traigo. And there are lots of verbs that use this geo ending. As you know, hacer is hago, venir is vengo, salir is salgo, etc., etc. So you're going to have haga, venga, salga, and salgamos, and salgan, ustedes, etc. So let's look at these ustedes commands. Señores, pasen ustedes. Come in. Tráiganme esos libros. Bring me those books. Escuchen ustedes este disco. Listen to this record. Esperen un minuto. From esperar, to wait a minute. Vayan ustedes con Felipe. Okay, there we got ir, and the vaya is irregular. Diviértanse. Now, what happened here? Divertir, you can think of its meaning, if you want to think of a similarity and a cognate in English, is to divert. But divertir really means to divert attention, okay? So it could mean like to entertain, like I'm doing to you. Divertirse is a common way it's used to entertain yourself, which means to have a good time or have fun. So, when we get down to diviértanse, what's happened here? First of all, we've conjugated the verb and the stress falls on this syllable, so the E, the stronger vowel, gets the accent to keep that syllable stressed. We've added the N for the ustedes, and the se is the reflexive for ustedes. So this is y'all have a good time. Y'all enjoy y'all selves. Okay? That's an R. Diviértase. What's the difference? Diviértanse and diviértase. This is plural. This is y'all. This is one person. Now, what's happened here? We've got this reflexive tacked onto the end. Well, that's what we do with positive commands. We tack the reflexive on the end. So if we were making this a to command, divierte is the familiar, the to form. And this te is the reflexive of tu. So you, one person, my first name buddy, but have a good time. Now, let's go to the plural, the vosotros form. We start with the infinitive, except we don't use the R. Divertidos. We didn't do the D switch with the R. We just skipped it. What happened was, historically, it got too hard to say divertidos with a D in there, okay? But the D's dropped. This is the reflexive, same person as vosotros. The D got dropped because that's the pattern with the vosotros command. The R gets replaced by the D, but when the reflexive is added, the D goes away too. That's just the way it is. It takes a while to get used to all these patterns. I grant you that. So let's go back to 258. These are the ustedes commands. Pasen ustedes, por favor. Entren ustedes, pasen ustedes. Basically, it means the same thing. Enter or go ahead, come on in. Tráiganme. We use the traigo root, traig, T-R-A-I-G, and we tack the personal pronouns onto the end, tráiganme. So we keep the stress in the same place. We show that with the accent on the A of traigan. Escuchen ustedes. Esperen un minuto. E's in the ending for an AR verb. Vayan ustedes con Felipe. Okay, now we've got an irregular. Vaya. That's the root for ir in the subjunctive or the ustedes commands. Diviértanse. Y'all have a good time. Y'all, ustedes, folks. Okay? Empiecen ahora el examen. Start the exam now. Ustedes. Denme esos libros. Now what happened? Give me. We tack the object onto the end of the positive command. Jueguen ustedes al ping pong. Y'all play ping pong. What happens when we make it negative? Well, then we don't tack the pronoun onto the verb form. We put it back before. No me digan eso. Don't you all tell me that. No me traigan esos papeles. Don't you all bring me those papers. No me los traigan. Don't bring them to me. No lean esa revista. Don't you all read that magazine? No pidan más café. Don't you all order more coffee? No hagan eso. Don't you all do that? I'm using the you all illustratively. You don't have to say it that way. You just have to understand it that way. No se quiten los zapatos aquí. No se quiten los zapatos aquí. Now, quitar is to remove. But if you're taking something, removing something from yourself, you're going to need to use the reflexive. No se quiten los zapatos aquí. Remember that we don't talk about articles of clothing and personal effects with the personal adjective, the possessive adjective. We don't say, no quiten sus zapatos. No. No se quiten los zapatos. Articles of clothing and personal effects are used with the definite article los or el, depending on, or las or la, whatever. Quitar means to remove. Quitarse means to remove from yourself, take off. Now the Nosotros command is pretty simple. We just switch the A with the E and so forth. Except that with the verbs that use an irregular first person singular like salgo, tengo, vengo, etc., we use that root. So, procuremos is a regular form. Procurar means to try. Procuremos terminar antes de las 3. Let's try to finish before 3. Volvamos mañana. Okay? Volver is the infinitive. Volvamos is the command form. Salgamos. Now, that SALG came from salgo. I do whatever it is. In this case, I remove. Or I leave, excuse me. Salgo. From salir. Salgo ahora. Salgamos ahora. Let's go out now. Juguemos. Un poco. Now, what happened here? Jugar. To play. Jugué. We can't just put the E there. It'd be jugué. So we put this silent there. Juguemos. We want to preserve the hard G's, so we use that silent U before E and I. Okay, we have sirvamos and sigamos. If you read the right-hand column, if the last stem vowel of an IR verb is E or O, pedir, divertir, dormir, etc., the Nosotros command will have I instead of an E and U instead of an O. So, pidamos, divirtamos, durmamos. Durmamos from dormir, to sleep. Pidamos, let's order. Divirtamos, let's have fun. Except that they didn't use it reflexively here. Durmamos, let's sleep. Let's go to this divirtamos. Literally, that means let's entertain. But if we want to say, let's entertain ourselves, let's have fun, we want that reflexive, right? We drop the S, we add the reflexive nos. Divirtámonos, let's entertain ourselves. Okay, the easy way out Let's go in the next group. The pongámonos el sombrero. Ponerse is put on, and we use the definite article with articles of clothing. And pongamos would be the command form if we were just putting something somewhere. Let's put our books down. Pongamos los libros en la mesa. But if we're going to put something on, we have to use the reflexive, right? In Spanish, I don't want to say pongámonos. Too much trouble. Drop that S and just tack the nos on the end. Pongámonos. Let's put on our hats. Pongámonos el sombrero. One hat. Because each of us only has one hat. Same way with all those articles of clothing and so forth. Okay, another way in Spanish to express the idea of let's do something is say vamos a, use the infinitive. Let's go in Spanish is usually vámonos, which is vamos plus nos dropped the first S. Vámonos. It's often, if you'll see the copy of the page in that I've made, vamos sometimes is used instead of vámonos. Vamos is simply we're going to do it, we're doing it. We'll go, let's do it. Vámonos, let's leave. That's irse. Vamos a salir. We're gonna leave. Or let's leave, you can even say. Just an alternate way to do it. Now the fun part comes with the negatives. Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't tell me it's going to get even more complicated. Using to, remember we take the first person singular of the indicative with those irregular verbs and make that the root. So we had traigo, digo, salgo, vengo, and so forth. We have pago, and then we have, well, we've understood that vaya, totally irregular. And sea, which is irregular, it's from ser. So, if you look at this group, el imperativo negativo empleando tú, okay, the negative, familiar, singular. We use that form that's called the subjunctive. It derives from the first person singular in these cases, and then we add the endings to that. So we have traiga me, bring me, whatever. Diga me, salga ahora. Leave now. Vengan los ejercicios. Bring on. Okay, may the exercises come. Bring them on, guys. Sock it to me, so to speak. Pagar from pagar, PAG from pagar. Now, what happens here, because it's an AR verb, got to go back to that silent U before we use an E. Paguemos. Let's pay the bill. Vaya. Vaya is from ear. That's the usted form. Vaya usted pronto. That means to go soon. If you want someone to leave, you use the reflexive, váyase. Leave right away. Sea from ser, sea bueno. Or buena. Be good. Be good guy, be good gal. Okay? And that would have a plural. Sean buenos. May you all be good. These are usted commands. This is a nosotros command. It's all very complicated, but it fits a pattern. You just have to remember that there are quirks to the command forms between positive and negative, between formal and familiar, and so forth and so on. You'll notice that on the middle of page 259, vamos a jugar al tenis. That can mean we are going to play tennis or let's play tennis. Vamos a volver mañana. Either we're going to come back tomorrow or let's come back tomorrow. No vamos a sentarnos aquí. We're not going to sit here or let's not sit here. Can be either one. Vamos a ponernos el abrigo. We're going to put on our overcoat or let's put on our overcoat. Depends on the context. Now the negative with to uses the subjunctive and has the characteristic S on the end of the vowel, of the verb, excuse me. And we derive these things from the first person singular with those special verbs, venir, to come, traer, hacer, poner. Remember, vengo, traigo, hago, pongo. Those are the I do these things. We'll use that root in this. I will call it subjunctive, but that's what it is. No me digas más mentiras. From decir digo. Digo, I speak. dig is your root, and you add the endings. And for to, it's as for er and ir verbs, and es for ar verbs. So, no me digas más mentiras. Don't tell me more lies. Or as we might say, tell me no more lies. No te pongas ese sombrero ridículo. Don't put on that ridiculous hat. No te levantes a mediodía. Don't get up at noon. Paco, no me des más discos viejos. Paco, don't give me any more old records. Ana, no te sientes aquí. Uh-oh, which verb is this? Sentarse or sentirse? Aquí. Here. Must mean sit. Don't sit here. That's the way you figure it out. But sentar is to sit, and you know the es is the subjunctive or the command form in this case. Teresa, no pagues la cuenta. Again, pagar has the hard G. We use the silent U before the E in pagues. Pepe, no te quites los zapatos en clase. Don't remove those shoes of yours. Don't remove the shoes from you. Well, we don't say it that way in English. Don't remove your shoes in class. Ramon, no duermas tanto. Don't sleep so much. Lalo, no seas malo. Don't be bad. Seas. Seamos. Sean. And so forth. Y Enrique, no vayas al cine. Vaya. From ear. Leer. Leas. Lea, leas, lea. Leamos, leáis, lean. Okay, the affirmative with two. It looks just like the indicative third person singular. Except the short versions. Habla con Cristina, Pepe. Pepe, habla con Cristina. Joe, talk with Chris. Ramon, toma café. Ray, drink coffee. Esteban, paga la cuenta. Steve, pay the bill. Rafael, toca la guitarra. Rafi, play the guitar. That's the positive. On page 261, you have an array of these two commands because they're using first names. That's your clue. Look at the fifth one down. Silvia, siéntate aquí. Seat yourself, sit. And then we have despiértate, from despertarse, to wake up. Despiértate. When we added this syllable, we had to keep the stress on the same syllable it had without the reflexive. Pepito, estate quieto. Estate quieto. Está, to be quiet. Estate, why is it reflexive? It's like, be yourself quiet, okay? The only way to translate it, just be quiet, but that's the reason it's reflexive. Estate quieto. Susana, dame tu paraguas, give me. Carlitos, quítate ese sombrero. Remove your hat. Doesn't say your hat, just says that hat. Take off that hat. Carolina, juega un poco al tenis. Caroline, play a little tennis. Cristobal, lee este poema. Read this poem, Chris. Ernesto, duerme un poco. Sleep a little bit, Ernest. Angela, vive con Barbara. Angela, live with Barbara. Now, that means probably lodge with her or be her roommate. Francisco, pide más café. Frank, order more coffee. Inés, repite estas palabras. Jean, repeat these words. Violeta, come un poquito más. Violet, eat a little more. A little bit more, we might say. Rosita, sírveme más limonada. Rosie, serve me more lemonade. Alicia, diviértete en la fiesta. Alicia, have fun at the party. En la fiesta is at the party in English. Gloria, escríbeme el año que viene. Gloria, write me next year. Pepe, óyeme. Pepe, hear me. Could be escúchame. Listen to me. But óyeme in this case would mean, since it's a command form, it's like listen. Esteban, Stephen, corre 2 kilómetros. Run 2 kilometers, Steve. Abre la ventana, open the window. Aprende algo, learn something. Quiéreme mucho, love me a lot. There's a song like, quiéreme mucho. Don't take it from my voice. But it's a popular song. Now there are certain verbs that are just shortened in that familiar singular, that is the to command. Dar, or decir, which is di, hacer, which is HAZ, as. Maria, ve al mercado, from ir, actually. Ve can be either from ir or from ver. If you say ve al mercado, you don't say look at the market, you go to the market. Ramon, ve esa película. That's the film. Ve esa película. See that movie. Vela esta noche. See it tonight. Alfredo, pon el libro allí. From poner, put that book there. Ponte el sombrero, put on your hat. Estela, sal ahora mismo. Leave right now. Sal con Ana, go out with, leave with Anna. Pepe, sé profesor. Pepe, be a professor. Carlos, sé ingeniero. Carlos, be an engineer. Carolina, ten cuidado. Be careful. Tener cuidado is the literally to have care or caution. But that's the way they say be careful. Rafael, ven acá. Ben from venir is a shortened form. So just have to remember the shorter versions. Come here. Come with Adela. Then we get into the negatives. That's more fun. So we'll start with 262 next time.
Is there homework for next week?
262 and 263. And then go through the oral exercises, which we will do as best we can. It's not two-way oral, but you should read these to yourself out loud and think of it as two different people speaking. Mi amigo y yo no vamos al concierto. My friend and I are not going to the concert. Vayan ustedes al concert. Go to the concert. Command form. Number 4. Mi amigo y yo dormimos en nuestra clase de historia. My friend and I sleep in our history class. No duerman ustedes en su clase de historia. Don't you all sleep in your history class. Number 5, no jugamos, jueguen. You have to change the U to we, and you have to put the silent U in after the G. Same way with pagar, páguenlas. We don't pay our bills, pay them. My friend and I stay here during vacation. Don't you all stay here during vacation. Maybe they're talking about staying at school. Don't stay here during vacation. Go somewhere and have fun. So we'll go over the ejercicios orales. It's a little hard to do oral exercises in a one-way teleconference. So we'll see if we can come up with a solution to that. But my advice is read it aloud to yourself. Put yourself in the two-way dialogue. And pay attention to what spelling changes take place. For example, in 5 and 6, for example. Okay, until next time. And we'll keep going. We'll work on through all of these command forms. And when we get back together, we'll do them real. But you need to read them, and you need to understand them, or you need to write yourself a question to bring up in class. Okay? Thank you.